I went down a rabbit hole the other day about the BP oil spill. I didn't
Oh
realize how
yes,
significant
Ooh,
it was.
major rabbit
yes.
hole.
Yeah, I got caught up in that for hours. I was mind
That's how
blown.
I am with that's how I am with extraterrestrial stuff.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
will go into like the firmament and
Hey, come on, talk
tinfoil
about
hat
it.
talk and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah,
you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
Mike? Hey,
yeah, yeah.
that's
Yeah.
I will go into a whole the abyss. That was a movie that was made in like the early I think like late '90s called The Abyss, and it was kind of like about that.
hmm
Um,
That's
yeah,
one of my favorite movies, by the way. The Abyss and the Thing with
man,
Kurt Russell back. Man, the
yes,
original one. The
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 original,
the, the remake was, but
the
the
original.
original one was, yeah, the
Yeah,
original one was.
that's a rabbit hole genre for you. Anything extraterrestrial, super
Yeah,
major rabbit hole genre.
Give me some
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
you're looking at on the firmament, Ronson.
you said seen some stuff on the firmament. Okay,
I recently actually thought I saw the firmament. I ain't gonna lie.
really?
Yeah,
Mm.
you
I mean,
know,
there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot. That's a
Hey,
whole other age. That I'm just saying. I'll
um,
send you some stuff. Like it's.
may or may not have been high, but
All right, what up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Just Acting Up Show. Do not change your TV screens or your YouTube screens or whatever screen or your audios or whatever you are listening to or watching because we have special co-hosts in the building. So, I got to do right, got to introduce them as well. So, we're gentlemen here on the show. We got to introduce the lady first. Ladies and gentlemen, Brandi Brooks is in the building. How you doing, Brandi? Round of applause.
I'm good. I'm good. What up? How y'all doing?
Doing good,
good.
doing good. We have once again, back again, Mr. Ronson Hawkins in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause.
What's up, y'all?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. How you doing, bro? And
Good, good.
we had this brother join us last time on a interview. My fault for not introducing him. Shame on me. Shame on me. Q, the artist, Qasim, brother. I'm so sorry, brother. Round of applause for Q, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo!
Appreciate you having me.
And then you got your regulars like me and Mike. We just here. We just, we just
Just
here,
me and
bro.
Mike. Shout
Just
out
me.
to James and to Shay.
Yeah, yeah, man. We just here, man. Mike,
Yeah,
how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, bro.
Good, good,
Doing
good.
good.
Good, good, man. Thank you, everyone. Shout out to our other co-hosts, Mike and no, not Mike. See, I'm all over the place with my
Mike,
doggone stuff.
Chris, and
The,
Tashay.
Chris and Tashay, yeah. Shout out to Chris and Tashay for they are doing what Chris Tashay does, which handling business, family business. We need breaks sometimes, which is why we bring other co-hosts, guest co-hosts to join us sometimes on the show. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate them. But we're gonna have a great show, all right? So with
Let's
that
do
being,
it.
Get
yes,
it.
sir. You already know how we do. We're gonna get to the big stage. We're gonna get to the critics corner, talk about some entertainment news. Got some great topics we want to talk about. And well, just sit back and watch this acting up show. Getting into the big stage. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, like I said, this is just acting up show. And you've been here before. And when you go to somebody's house, you do what you're supposed to do. You wipe your feet, you knock on the door, you be respectful. That's what you do. Because that's how we all grew up. I mean, duh. You don't just, go into somebody's house and just walk in there. That's crazy. That's how you get shot here in Texas. But this is what we do when we come on the show. We always say, Mike, what we do, you going to like
Like, share, comment, and subscribe.
and subscribe to the Just Acting Up Show. And don't forget it. Like I said, you do that right when you go to somebody's house. So do it when you come on the show when the show starts. It's simple. Click that subscribe button somewhere down there, somewhere. You can find it. You can see. You can see, can't you? You can see. So yeah. So with that being said, like I said, appreciate our guest co-host today, Q, Brandi, Ronson, Brandi, Q, and like I said, just me and Mike, just us. So we're gonna treat the big stage a little bit different. We always talk about what goes on in the city of Houston or what goes on elsewhere in America or overseas or wherever, but we're gonna treat this big stage a little bit different. We're gonna talk to our fellow guest co-hosts and ask them what they got going on because they are from here. They are from the H-Town, rep your city because it is your city. So, like I said,
City to be
yeah,
exact.
there we go. There we go. And so, like I said, we're gentlemen here, so we're gonna let the ladies start first, or the queen. Brandi, go ahead. Share everybody, what you have going on. Introduce yourself.
All right, all right. Brandi Brooks, born and raised here in Houston, Mo City to be exact, like I said. Make sure y'all follow me on all platforms, acting like Brandy with an I, not a Y. There you can find all my work. Make sure y'all go check out my latest work, which is a music video called Progression, bringing back real storytelling in music, sort of like a short film. Also, we have She's Cold that's out. It's our music film as well. Also, I have a movie, Bruce 2, that is out. I do have speaking roles in there as well, so make sure y'all check that out. And I have a lot of upcoming projects that I can't speak on yet, but if y'all follow me on Acting Like Brandi, just stay tuned. I'll be posting castings coming up here shortly. We'll be looking for crew. We'll be looking for extras, talent, lead, all paid opportunities. So we about to shake up Houston. I'm not gonna say too much because but we're about to shake it up. We're about to show people why you don't have to go to Hollywood or Atlanta or anywhere else to make it. You can do it right here at home in Houston. So we got some great things coming up. And lastly, I have a podcast as well that'll be relaunching soon, the Black Way Podcast. Y'all make sure. Oh,
There
there
you
we
go.
go.
There
There
you
we
go.
go.
Okay,
There
I
we go.
see it. I see it. I
Y'all
see
make
it.
sure y'all follow me on YouTube. We got some great, great, great things coming. And thank you, James, for this opportunity. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Man, thank you, Brandi. Y'all make sure y'all check out everything that she said that was going on and was popping on her podcast and everything else. Been on there too. Great show. Thank you again for having me,
He was,
Mikey, and
yeah,
everybody
he
else
was
on
on
this.
there.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
appreciate
sorry.
that.
I forgot about Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2, episode 5, Mo.
That's
In
yeah.
there.
Hey,
Season 2, episode 5.
There
Yeah.
we go. There we go.
Let's
grateful for
go.
Mo.
All right,
There you
that's
Grateful
go.
enough
for Mo.
bragging about me. That's enough.
No. Hey, talk your
Hey,
talk, man.
yeah, talk
Got
your
to.
talk. Talk your
Yeah,
talk.
Do
I was
that.
just saying, I'm so grateful for Mo being a production that you can that was shot in Houston, but
Mm-hmm.
shows that cinematography and shot
Absolutely.
selection can change a whole dynamic of a film. So
Mm-hmm.
nobody has
Facts.
an excuse now to say, oh, I'm just in Houston, or it's just Houston, and or
Yeah.
producing something that we consider to be filmed. No,
Hmm.
get in there with
No,
people who have a love and a passion for this thing, and
that's
want to
right.
be great. Greatness can be achieved. So, shout
Mm-hmm.
out to Mo.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for saying that. Well, Q, thank appreciate that. It was a handful of Houston talent that was in there as well. Myself and Mike and
Yeah.
Tisha and Chris included, as well as many others. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
We
that
was in a barbecue judging scene. I don't know what episode that is. I forgot.
I think it
Yeah.
was 7. I can't remember, but it was cool. It
Yeah.
was fun.
It was
We
it was cool.
yeah
Yeah.
we ate that day.
Yeah, we
Oh,
We
did.
was in the
that's
bowling alley.
And
We
took a
was
nap.
bowling.
Shout out to being treated well. Shout out to being treated well. And
Shout out to
Yes.
being treated
Yeah.
well.
Oh yeah. For
thank
Austrian
sure. We was
God.
being
treated well.
fed.
Thank you,
No,
God.
but you know what, guys? I'm glad that that people in Houston were able to experience that, because when we
Yes.
talk about, and not to deviate, but we talk about this whole thing about it goes to I guess I can kind of segue that to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll introduce myself. My name is Ronson Hawkins, actor. Born and raised in Houston. Graduated from Texas Southern with my BA in theater with a concentration. Well, my BA in theater with a concentration in performance. Been in the film industry for about 4 years and some change.
Mm-hmm.
Just recently launched Book the Room Acting Studio,
Mm-hmm.
a hybrid virtual and in-person collective in which I teach actors how to be one with the frame and how to craft self-tape auditions that captivate casting directors and book the room. And my goal is to teach actors how to get from self-tape to these bigger sets like Mo, or how to even navigate these bigger industry sets, because the independent realm is a stepping stone to get to work that artistically satisfies us, and as well as monetarily satisfies us, as well as how we are treated. And when you're on a bigger set, and then you're possibly on a set where the bar has been set already. When you're on a bigger set, a bigger union SAG set, the bar has been set. So then when you experience anything less, it's different for you. So I'm glad that there was a production here and I've experienced the bigger sets where I filmed in North Carolina, where I filmed in New Orleans. I have something dropping on Netflix this year, The Corpse. I was in season 1, episode 6. I was my first co-star. So I had a scene with one of the series regulars right next to me. We have a scene together. So we have some discourse and exchange of dialogue. So I think I was glad that there was something here that people were able to experience what it was like to be on a set where everything is top notch, top level of treatment, all of that stuff. So yeah, just piggybacking off of what you said. So yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, sir.
So that was a lot, but yeah.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you for joining the show and saying that, and also telling everybody about book the room and everything. I love that. Love what you're doing, Ronson. Brandi, love what you're doing as well too. To give back and help out with the actors here to learn and sharpen their skills. Sharpen me and Q always talk about all the time. Iron sharpens iron, and we're only going to get there unless we be honest with each other, but
Yeah.
And help each other in the right way. I mean, like I tell everybody all the time, like, hey. When me and Brandi was talking on the phone one time, when I say Socrates, all I know is that I know nothing. And what that mean by that, I don't know everything. But if I don't know everything, let me go to somebody else who is sharper than me or knows their craft and know what they're doing. And speaking of that, Brother Q, let everybody know what you got going on. When I say sharper, Q be on it, man. Like I gotta applaud this brother, man, because he really is a light and bright, and he really does help out a lot of people here in the Houston area, and he got things going on himself. So, Q, brother, go ahead, tell the audience about yourself, man.
I appreciate it, man. I am Qasim. I go by Q, or Q Shot You, and now my latest pseudonym is Qasim the Artist. I've been I guess doing this entertainment thing really all my life. When I look at my life, right? But professionally and on the Houston scene, I started in 2013. Started with a web series. And I noticed when I look back now that I've been doing some of the same things that I do now, way back then, shot call sheets and location scouting and just cinematography and trying to find my shot. I've been doing that thing, but I've had some experiences now commercially and TV and film wise now where I've sharpened those skills and I really understand how to go and get what I'm looking for. And so a lot of people here in Houston, they may know me for The Season. I've been nominated and won an award. My latest award was Best Cinematographer, where all the judges gave me a 10 score. And the beautiful thing about that is this was in a city where I've never been, in St. Louis, with some judges that we didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, shout out to that. It's hard to kind of pat myself on the back, but it is a great accomplishment because I do care. Everybody that works with me knows and sees my level of care that I have for the art. And then, so that was dope. Me as a cinematographer, and then I'll get in front of the camera on projects like Gold. Y'all can find that on Tubi, directed by G. Becton. Gold story. The Echoes Within by Ivan Battle. You can see me in front of the camera. Then, like I say, The Season behind the camera, and then also now my latest artistry is music. QasimTheArtist.com, Instagram, Qasim the Artist, YouTube, Qasim the Artist. You can hear some of my dope tracks like Pressure is my latest one that I dropped. Dodge the Bullet is another one.
I just
And then,
dodged the bullet. I just
hey,
dodged the bullet.
come on, we got to dodge these bullets in this industry and just know what is good opportunities versus opportunities that we should kind of consider not doing as well. Be honest and open about opportunities that aren't well for you. You know what I'm saying? So my art is very transferable into everything that I'm doing. And like you just said, dodge the bullet. We got to dodge these bullets and just, keep building and pouring into ourselves. It's the journey that I'm on. God autopilot on this journey of pouring into myself, and that's what y'all seeing. 20 years of not. And then now here I am back with a vengeance. So thank y'all for having me.
Nice, no problem.
Man, thank you for joining us, man. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, Houston has talent. And for those who, man, look, I remember last year me and Ronson went up to Chicago, the Actors Empowerment Summit.
Yeah.
Bro, and shout out to Jeremiah Caldwell, J the actor, and he was saying that, bro, y'all got some gems.
Yeah, we
And
do.
these are just some of the gems right here. We have plenty others.
Yeah.
And that's why I was saying, like, you think that we a step slow? No, we a step ahead, bro. We something sharp out here, as we
Yeah.
flex on them, and do say so myself. So,
Nah,
once
for
again,
real.
yeah, most definitely. So once again, I thank y'all, myself, Mike, Chris, and Tashay from the Just Acting Up Show. Thank y'all for joining us on the big stage. Thank you for joining us on the show. So let's go ahead and let's get into the critics corner and keep the show going. This is Just Acting Up Show, ladies and gentlemen. James, Mike, Brandi, Ronson, and Q. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Critics Corner. And before we get into the Critics Corner, we're going to talk about Joffrey's VIP room, man. And if you ever been down to VIP room, like Mike and so many others, we talk about, what goes on in your favorite television series. We have Actors Roundtable. I have guests that come on. We have share our thoughts on the acting community. We had a crab in a bucket mentality conversation one time. And just like the next upcoming episode, where you just don't only see my shenanigans, because I always got some shenanigans going on, you'll see me and Mike talk about The Last of Us. Now, if you are not a fan of The Last of Us, if you have not played the game before, if you haven't seen the show before, if you played the game and you haven't seen the show, you've seen the show, haven't played the game, Lord Jesus, I'm telling you right now.
Hey.
Bro. Mike.
Yeah, if you haven't played the game or haven't watched any of the cutscenes on YouTube of the game, then you're gonna be in for a treat this season. So
yeah, Isn't that crazy to where we at in this crazy acting world where they're really, well, they had video game films, and TV shows and cartoons in the past. But I think The Last of Us is one of the few video game shows that's shown us how it needs to be done. And I know when me and Mike first talked about the show, the first episode when last year me and Mike first started the show, like we were like, it was quiet,
blown
but it was
away.
like
we was like blown away.
That's how. Yeah, because it was like the first episode was like kind of almost to a T of what they did in the video game, and like when we got on, I was like Mike like.
James.
Bro, so it's The Last of Us it was really good. But the minus of one episode, and we'll talk about that on Joffrey VIP room. But other than that, bravo, Last of Us, ready for y'all to get started on that. So
Never seen it. Don't shame me, but I ain't never seen it.
Yeah, don't spoil no spoilers.
Oh man, I don't.
We gonna leave that alone. We're just gonna let the people that saw it and didn't see it, whatever. we gonna, but
So
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, I definitely gotta check it out.
Yeah, everybody's like, I love The Last of Us. Oh, okay, you wait on it.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah. You wait on it. It's one of those.
Wait on it, all right?
Yeah, just wait on it. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the other topics. We're going to do Critics Corner a little bit differently today. We're going to talk about the shows that our guest co-host, I can't even talk, has watched. And so, The Pulse, Ronson.
Pulse, man. great. Medical dramas. I love medical dramas. I have a special place for them in my heart. I went to Texas Southern University on a theater scholarship from Chandra Wilson, who plays Dr. Bailey on Grey's Anatomy. She graduated from high school, came to my high school, and she would always give a scholarship to graduating seniors. And so I auditioned for her, and I got her scholarship. So I've always had an affinity for medical dramas, The Resident, like New Amsterdam. And so that's like my goal. I want to get on one. So I always, anytime they drop a new medical drama, I'm looking at the plot line, the conflict, the inciting incident, and what makes it so. And Post was one that, you know, I would hear mixed reviews about, but I liked it. You know, of course, excuse me, you always have your actors to watch. But it was, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the conflict. I enjoyed the inciting incident. It had the same feel as far as the cadence of a medical drama, which is why I even always tell actors, like, if you're auditioning for a show, or if your agency representing, you're auditioning for a show and it's a show that's already running, go watch the show so that you can study how the cadence of the dialogue works, so that when you do submit, they know that you've done your research. And the Post just felt like home, because it was like all of the typical, you know, medical jargon being thrown out in times of high urgency and trying to save someone, you know. So yeah, I literally sat and I binged it, and yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. It was pretty in the beginning it was like, it was a slow burn for me to get kind of into it, and then eventually all of the characters started settling. The development of all the characters started settling into their own, and I'm like, oh, okay, now we're seeing relationships unfold. Now I'm so yeah, that's the Post. That's one to watch.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I gotta check that out.
yeah, I heard about it, and I definitely got to check it out as well too. I heard nothing but great things. I heard nothing but great things. So definitely write that down as another show you can watch. Get your popcorn and drinks ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
And another show that I need to finish watching as well. So Brandi, thank you for reminding me about this. Mike, I think we talked about it a little bit. I don't know if you finished it up, but Paradise with Sterling
Oh
K.
So
Brown.
yeah.
good.
Oh
So
yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
Yes.
good.
Yes, I
Oh my
finished it.
gosh.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great show. I finished it all. I'm kind of sad that it ended. I wanted to keep going. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
what's his name? Is it Sterling K. Brown?
Yeah.
Sterling K. Brown.
Sterling
Yes.
K. Brown.
Man,
Yeah.
Yeah.
bodied it. I can't watch movies for enjoyment anymore. I pay attention to everything, the
Yeah.
lighting, the color
Mm-hmm.
grading, the cinematography, the extras. Are they flowing in the scene? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah.
hard, but with Paradise, they checked every box for me.
But that's like a
Mm-hmm.
level
Every
of
box.
enjoyment, though. If you think
Yeah,
about
for sure.
it, it's
For
just
sure.
enjoyment from the critical
Art.
sense. But it's like when all those things are harmonious, it's like, oh, that's so good. Like
Yeah.
you're still enjoying it, especially when
Yeah.
you
And I
check box.
study it too because a lot of things they do, I tell my friends all the time, I'm like, that's not in the script. That's not in the script either. You can tell that's not in the script, but they're such
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal actors. They find
Mm-hmm.
things to do in the scene. Like
Yeah.
you can't teach that. You
Mm.
just can't. Like
Yeah.
a director did not write, just for an example, go over there and pick that up while you're talking. No, the actor lives in the scene and you see that in
Yeah.
Paradise. Like, cause that's my area of opportunity when I'm on set. I can't figure out what else to do outside of what's
Mm-hmm.
written. I'm looking for the director to say, like, oh, do that, but I
Mm-hmm.
forget to live.
Yeah.
And shows like Paradise remind me, just live.
It's a
Yeah.
Just
live.
live.
That's so good.
I love that. Great tip, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
Just
tip.
live. Don't act. Don't
Yeah,
act.
don't
Just
act.
live.
Yeah.
Don't act.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. I forgot who said that. If I can tell that you acting, then nah.
It
Yeah.
You're
yeah.
supposed to live. The whole point of acting is living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. That's what I say. That's the definition of it. Live truthfully under imaginary circumstances.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like,
Love
And you
it.
can tell he did his homework on his character too.
Yes.
You can tell he did his
Yeah.
homework. He tapped
Yeah.
into that character from episode 1 all the way to the season finale.
Yes.
Like you can tell he did his homework. Chanel always say, know your character, where you from, what was your upbringing like, have that background, that history. So when you're on camera, It's nothing because
Yeah.
you know your
Natural.
character.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. Love that, Flo. Great tips, great gems. So appreciate y'all for saying that. And we can't forget about White Lotus and
Ooh,
Black Mirror. Two other heavy hitters, White Lotus and Black Mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Um, share with that because like I'm about to start watching White Lotus. Black Mirror, I've
it's
heard
wild.
bits and pieces about it.
Same
But
here. Yeah.
what, Brandy, go
The
ahead, take it
White
away.
Lotus is wild. But so they're on 3 seasons right now, and each season is a different destination. That's one thing I love about it because they're on destination. The first season was in Hawaii. The second
Mm,
season, I believe, was Italy, and then this third season, they're in Thailand. I recently
Mm-hmm.
went to Thailand, so I'm like
Good.
infatuated with the third season.
Yeah.
But it brings the authenticity to it because they're using actors in Thailand. Like, of
yeah.
course, they have some their leads, of course, the main cast, they're coming over, but they're using actors in Thailand. Like,
Mm,
but overall, the what it's about, how do I describe what White Lotus is about? You just gotta watch it, okay? Just start from
It's
season
one of them.
one.
You gotta watch it.
Yeah, it's one of them. It's you start from season one, a family arrives, and everything looks like it's gonna go well, but after about the second or third episode, you like, oh, this is good. This is
okay.
you like, what? Like, are you kidding me? It's like a drama, a thriller, and it's a lot of comedy in there too. That's my type of stuff I like to watch. I hate stuff that's too serious,
Yeah,
unless it's true crime. I'm a
right.
huge true crime fan, but I'm okay. The documentaries, the slavery
Yeah,
documentaries and stuff. I like something that's gonna make me laugh. So
gotcha.
the White
Yeah.
Lotus, go watch it. I'm telling you. And I will say it's one of those things where if you don't want to binge from season one, it's okay to start from season three because the pieces are going to be put together still from season one. They're going to
Mm,
flash back to season one and two and show you like, oh, this is how we got here. So it's okay if you don't want to start from season one. Just pick up from season three, episode one. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
bet. Okay, gotcha. Thank for sharing it with us right there.
Yeah.
And
I think I had suggested Black Mirror Joffy, but
yeah.
I think I'm gonna swap that bad boy out for a last minute sub out for Nine Perfect Strangers, guys, on
Mm,
Hulu. Directed, I think it was executive produced by Nicole Kidman. It's called Nine Perfect Strangers. It is I love theater of the absurd. I love
mm,
the genre of absurdity and absurdism and like stuff that's mind boggling, sort of like a Black Mirror esque type of deal. But Nine Perfect Strangers, it's such a good show. Heavy hitting
Nine Perfect
actors,
Strangers.
Nicole Kidman. I know Melissa McCarthy's in it.
mm.
Regina Hall is in it.
Mm-hmm.
I
I'll
mean,
watch anything with Regina
just
Hall.
just a heavy hitting, like, oh my god, it's such a heavy hitting, and it's such a diverse cast. I love ensemble pieces. I love shows where it's an ensemble piece and it's a diverse cast. It's like a spotlight being put on everybody, multiple cast members, and how they all are in relation and connection with each other, and how the relationship develops. So Nine Perfect Strangers on Hulu. If you're into that type of thing, if you're into Black Mirror, then you'll like Nine Perfect Strangers on Hulu. So yeah, I just have to make that sub out. Nine Perfect Strangers. It's really good.
Gotcha. Noted. And I
Nine Perfect
appreciate it.
Strangers. Noted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. We always like we said, we always welcome to different shows that comes on that we need to watch and check out. There's so many subscriptions, so many shows to watch. Good gracious.
Yeah.
Abbott Elementary is my comfort show. Just an
Oh
honorable mention.
yes,
It's my
yes.
comfort show. I love it. I want to be on it one day.
Well,
I went back to watching House of Cards. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
Ooh.
because for me, what's been going on with the president and these all of this with the stock market, it interests me. So I like to go back to see stuff like the documentary of Bernie Madoff, the movie Big Deal when in 2008 the housing market closed, and just to see how the interworkings in the political that's handling the money and the policies and the presidents and and everything that we don't even know about because we just go on with our daily lives. Like these people are controlling everything. So I love to go back and watch stuff like that to just get educated and just to see, you know, what's going on behind the scenes, behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
I love watching documentary. I would get into a rabbit hole watching that. Like I'm watching the what was the with Richard Nixon,
You're
that
talking about
whole
the Watergate
Watergate
scandal.
scandal. Yeah, I'm watching
Mm.
that on HBO Max. I'm watching you know, when the time when Bernie Madoff stole billions and billions of dollars throughout his whole career. That's on Netflix actually. They got another documentary, Dirty Money. So documentaries, and that's my thing. I
Yeah,
get
gotcha.
into it.
I went down a rabbit hole the other day about the BP oil spill. I didn't
Oh
realize how
yes.
significant it was.
Major rabbit
Yes.
hole.
Yeah, I got caught up in that for hours. I was mind
That's how
blown.
I am with that's how I am with extraterrestrial stuff.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
will go into like the firmament and
Hey, come on. Talk
tinfoil
about
hat talk and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
oh,
it.
you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
Mike? Hey,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
that's
Um,
I will
it, it,
go into a whole The Abyss. That was a movie that was made in like the early I think like late 90s called The Abyss, and it was kind of like about that.
mhm.
Um
That's
yeah,
one of my favorite movies, by the way. The Abyss and the Thing with
man.
Kurt Russell back, man. The
Yes.
original one,
The original,
the remake was, but
the
the
original.
original one was, yeah, the
Yeah,
original one was.
Those are that's a rabbit hole genre for you. Anything extraterrestrial, super
yeah,
major rabbit hole genre.
Give me some
yeah.
stuff
Yeah,
you're looking at on the firmament, Ronson.
You said send you some stuff on the firmament? Okay.
I recently actually thought I saw the firmament. I ain't gonna lie.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
You
I mean,
know,
there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot. There's a
Hey,
whole other that I'm just saying. I'll
um,
send you some stuff. Like it's.
may or may not have been high, but but I still believe things. Right there's the real
You
thing
saw that
happening in
firmament
front of us.
crack. You saw that firmament crack. You
It
saw
wasn't
somebody
cracked.
hit
It was
the
just
dome.
I understand it now. I understand what it looks like and how it's above us. Actually, in my latest song, "Pressure," I rewrote my third verse. In light of seeing it. Um,
mm.
and
Crazy work. Yeah,
yeah,
we'll have to. Yeah,
yeah,
I'll send you some stuff
yeah,
I
we
see
got
on
you.
yeah. But
rabbit hole.
I believe that is there. And
Man,
we've all been looking at it a long time. But anyway,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
another segment, another
another
segment.
segment.
Another segment. That's another segment. We'll have to have a listening party with Q one day, y'all. Just sit back and just we all just
Sit
get. I
back
don't
and
know.
listen. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I
we
don't know.
just need a whole show where we just go into the rabbit hole. Just
Oh,
The
the rabbit
rabbit
hole.
hole.
The rabbit
yeah,
hole.
just go the
Yeah,
rabbit.
rabbit hole moments. What?
Tinfoil
Yeah,
tinfoil hat talk. You
Hey,
know.
I like that. Like that.
Straight up, man.
yeah.
And to finish off this segment of the Critics Corner, magazine Dreams. It's out. I heard some people said they couldn't get a chance to go watch it. Some people have
Mhm.
watched it. Some people said yeah. Some people said yeah. But I have not seen it just yet. First and foremost, before we start, when we have our views on it and talk about it, real quick, and also we're gonna dive into our trailers better than the movies. Shout out to Jonathan Majors. So happy for you that you have came back from. Well, I know he said in interviews it's not a comeback. It's a rebirth. So
Yeah,
happy for the
Yeah.
brother. Happy
yeah,
for
for
him.
Yeah.
sure.
We've
Yeah.
all witnessed being of a different complexion
Yeah,
that we get tossed to the side when some nonsense or crazy shenanigans come our way. So gotta pay respects. Gotta show the brother respects and love and thank you. And just I'm just happy to see that he's on the trending
Happy.
upwards to where he needs to
yeah.
get back in the saddle and everything. But who here has seen Magazine Dreams?
I
Yeah.
watched it last night.
Watch last
If
I
night.
I'm
watched
I
not
watched it
it a couple
last
days
night.
mistaken,
ago.
it's on digital now.
It's on digital
I
now.
watched it a couple days ago. Well, no, I think it was probably a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I watched it.
Okay, gotcha. Because I know at the film festivals, everybody was like, roaring rave reviews. But then we're like, okay, let's check it out for ourselves. And so, be
Yeah.
honest, but also we gonna be respectful. But give
Yeah.
me who wants to go first on their thoughts of who saw like Brandy. I know you say you watched it.
Yeah, I watched it last night. I mean, Shout out to Jonathan Majors. I am happy for him. Like you said, it's a rebirth, not a comeback. I just thought maybe I expected more because of what a phenomenal actor he is.
Mm.
I just think that maybe that role wasn't for him. And but as far as cinematography and shooting, all of that was phenomenal. I'm just speaking on like the direction of the movie and the acting. I just thought it could have been a little better. The plot to me was a little confusing. So sometimes I can be a harsh critic. I go back and watch it again to see if I still have those same thoughts. So I'll probably watch it again at some point. And also could be biased because I'm not a fan of Zeus. This was a deal with Zeus, Zeus Network. Um, I think Zeus portrays African Americans in the most negative light ever.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes.
yeah, I don't agree with anything they have going on over there. But this was something probably that helped revive Jonathan Major's career. So, from the business side, I totally understand. The rest of the studios were shunning him because of what happened. So, I'm not in a position
Mm.
to tell anyone how to do business, but just speaking on the movie itself, I just it could have been better. I had higher expectations, but I watched it. I support it. Um, that's my take on it.
Gotcha.
Mm,
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you. Ronson, what do you say, bro?
yeah, I think it was, you could feel the weight of it being an independent project. You can feel the rawness of it being an independent project. I think when you have a movie that is practically a one man show,
Mm-hmm.
for that long of a runtime, and the
Mm-hmm.
plot, there were a lot of artistic elements of, there were a lot of stills. There was a lot of artistic elements where there wasn't a lot of dialogue. Um, a lot of like not B roll, but just raw shots of Jonathan being in the life of the character, and I think sometimes that could lose people. Um, yeah, the runtime. I think the runtime was really long. I think there were certain moments where it was hard to track the um it was hard to track the development of Killian, the character. Um, yeah, I think it's just that it's seeing Jonathan Majors in this one man show, but there were certain elements that it could have, I would feel like the film would have gotten a higher score, and I think it is because we know how much of a talented actor is. It's just certain roles that fit actors better, and I don't think it was even Jonathan, but I think it was how things were placed around him, and in the script and everything that could have been, um, that probably would have made a slight artistic or more of a substantial artistic difference in how the movie was received.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and thank you both of y'all for saying that as well too. 'Cause, like all of us been on set before. We seen the highs, the lows. What goes into it. Thing, and I know Q was like a surgeon. I think all of us are really like a surgeon now, where we're at in our young careers, where we're like, that right there could be moved a little bit more here, or the pacing here, or the lighting here, or you could have dropped that line a
Yes,
little bit
pacing.
stronger
The
here.
wording
Yeah,
here, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
They could have moved this way, yeah,
yeah.
because yeah. I didn't see Magazine Dreams. I heard good things about it, and then I also heard the same things that you guys said. But do y'all believe that this is gonna help Jonathan Majors not get back in Marvel, because Marvel is just gonna do whatever they want to do, but like get back into like the grace of, okay, now we can start putting him on commercials. Now again, we can start
Mm,
introducing him back into the households, the family households, because that's where the money is at. Once you get into those family homes,
mm.
everybody is going to want you to be on their platform or whatever the case may have. Yeah, I think that Magazine Dreams is going to help Jonathan Majors get
I
to
have
that
a
point.
hot take on that, and my hot take is I actually don't think the work is going to help him do that. I think
Mm,
what I've been seeing him do versus where he was before is Jonathan
mm,
Majors wasn't a big interview person before. I've seen interviews of Jonathan Majors where he doesn't have a phone or he doesn't have a computer. Like he doesn't have social media. So he's like, I have to tap into the world, you know, and kind of separate myself from this country. I have to do this, like to do this interview right now. Like there have been moments, that was years ago. I don't think that the work, because Magazine Dreams was done. It was just put out now. So it wasn't really a comeback or it was just in the heat of it. It just wasn't able to, it didn't get the attention that it needed. You know, they weren't going to put it out. But now, now it's out now. But then again, we all know that Jonathan is an amazing actor. His acting wasn't something that was questioned. It was his character. And I think something that I've noticed he's been doing, he's been doing more interviews.
Yeah.
He did the Sherry Shepherd interview.
PR.
He did the Breakfast Club. I just noticed that they dropped the interview with Cam Newton, because you know Cam Newton has his podcast, the football player. He did with Cam Newton. I mean, I saw him on
Keke Palmer too.
Yeah, Keke Palmer, or he was supposed to be on Keke Palmer, but I don't think she released it.
He was on it, but they scrapped the.
I mean,
she's not going to release it.
Yeah, she's not going to release it. He was on this fitness YouTubers channel. Like, it's the PR. In order for him to get into the good graces of the people in these households, it's him showing the result of the rebirth. It's him showing the accountability. It's him showing the remorse or voicing where he was at that time. So it won't be through the projects, because a lot of people don't even know about Magazine Dreams. It went straight to digital. Like, a lot of people didn't even really watch it when it was in house and select theaters. But people are watching his interviews because he's speaking out about everything.
Right.
So that's, to me, is what's gonna get him in the good graces of people again, to see what did you learn from from something that was a consequence, you know. So yeah,
absolutely.
What about you, Q? Did you watch Magazine Dreams?
I'm so disconnected from like just watching stuff, period. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be locked into what I'm doing oftentimes, and I don't get to just enjoy these shows unless I hear y'all say something, or unless I see it like, oh, watch this, and then I'll go check it out just to see what everybody's talking about. But I've been disconnected, so I like hearing y'all talk about these shows. It just made me think like, dang, I'm missing out on all the goodness. But no, I haven't seen it though.
I kind of agree with Ronson. I don't think it's the movie itself that's going to get him back into the good graces. It's the PR run that he's on. And it's been a long run, from even when they staged the whole him breaking up a fight with two kids. That was staged.
I forgot about that.
Who was breaking up a fight with two kids?
He was breaking up Jonathan Majors.
Okay.
This was like right in the middle of, they didn't even come out with a verdict yet. They were still going through trial, and he broke up a fight with like two teenagers.
Yeah. And TMZ just happened to be there too.
Yeah, TMZ just happened to be there.
Oh, brother.
And he just so happened to be best dressed.
I like that y'all saying this, because I got a short film called Unplugged. And so lately, what I've been doing, even though I'm not tapped into that, right? But I hear you saying that, I'm going to show how, yes, the media and the teams and the people around these people are strategically saying, hey, we need to do this so that we can get the algorithm going for this person or this person.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that was. I was like, come on, man.
They got us right where they want us to.
I forgot all about that.
I'll never forget.
Crazy work.
Yeah. Someone in the comments say, and cut.
Not and cut. That's insane. That's another thing too. Like, I try to be like, I think, and like I'm telling you, I have all love for Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sound insensitive when I say it, but I think there was like moments where it's like, in moments of peril for actors, where their like backs are against the wall. Those are the only moments where I'm like, how borderline performative could they be right now?
Right.
Like, how much of it is an act? How much of it is real?
Yeah.
And it's tough, because I don't like when people say, you could be acting right now. I'm like, dude, I'm not acting right now.
Yeah.
I do it enough, but there are certain there are certain moments in like the height of publicity where I was just like a Jonathan Major moment where I was just like, how performative could that be? You know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, he had to clean
Great
up his
work.
image, so I can't say I was one questioning his character, so it's cool to see him take accountability for what happened. He did his due in court, the justice system did what they need to do. So I mean, congratulations to him.
Yeah. Happy to see that he's getting everything lined up on track, the PR and everything else. That was a crazy time. Like you just see like why is this brother running and why is she running so fast these
He was
hills?
running away.
Running away. Like I'm talking
Away.
about a track star moment. And I'm talking
No,
about
he was high knees kicking.
high knees.
High knees.
That's not funny.
That was
I'm
high
laughing at
knees.
y'all the way y'all describing it, but yes.
Yeah, he was high knees.
He was high knees.
I'm sorry, like any woman that scares me. Any woman that can keep up with you in high heels, because it looked like she had on some high heels. I don't know, but she right on him. That scares me. He's a muscle bound dude, and she's able to keep up with. I don't know how his cardio work is, brother, but I'm just saying she'll keep up with you, man. That scares me if I look back over my shoulder.
Away.
Yeah. So
that video really helped him. It really did.
It did.
It had people saying, "Oh, wait a minute, let me change my mind now."
Yeah, this don't look right. So
But all jokes aside, happy for the brother. Keep doing
absolutely.
Keep doing what you do. Last topic. I'm glad y'all brought this topic up. Are trailers looking better than the movies?
Man. Yes, they are.
Oh God!
Magazine Dreams
movie.
That's a great example.
Yes,
Magazine Dreams was the trailer was so, and it all goes to this. And I tell people, filmmakers, all the time: there's the movie you write, there's a movie you shoot, and there's a movie you edit. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's one you write, one you shoot, one you edit. You can have the amazing script. It can be shot really well. But in that editing room is the determinant of what it's going to be, how you cut. Because acting is an editor's medium.
Yeah.
So when you're acting, you want to, you want to be in sync in a way with the editor. And they're going to cut it to where it's either going to be really good or it's going to be really bad. And there was so much anticipation built up with the Magazine Dreams trailer, like so much. To me, it was the same with Gladiator 2. It was so much the trailer built up with Gladiators 2, and then watching it, it just felt different. It felt different, it just felt different. So that's why I say the trailers. A lot of times the trailers are just more, but I think it also serves the purpose too.
It does. It really does. There's only a few movies that when you see the trailer and it adds up to the movie, and the movie is like way better than the trailer. That's the great films. Like I never forget when I saw the trailer to Dark Knight, with the Joker, Heath Ledger, and I was like, oh my God. And then when I seen the movie, I'm like, that trailer didn't do that movie. Just blew that trailer out of the water. And then you had Dark Knight Rises. It's like Christopher Nolan's team is just crazy good.
Top of the top.
They on top of the top. But I had that argument. I saw Wolfman, and I was like, what the hell is this?
It wasn't good. Yeah.
I'm sweet. That's funny.
Screaming.
Yeah, I think like now in the times we're in, the trailer has to be that great because one, people are not going to the movies anymore. So it's like we got to make this the most intense trailer ever to get them in the movies so we can get the box office money. And then it's going to come to streaming a month or two or so later. But that trailer has to make a case on why you need to go see it now in the box office versus streaming. I think that's where that comes from. It's like a strategic thing. Like Sinners, for example, the trailer is amazing. So I have high expectations for the movie. I mean, it's Ryan Coogler, but look at the trailer. It's it's a lot,
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I watch it, I expect so much.
So much.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Please.
Me
I'm
too.
like, please.
Well,
Ryan Coogler, please.
we gonna have
It,
another
it
discussion.
didn't gain 100% on Rotten
It
Tomatoes, but
did.
who
It
cares?
did.
Them tomatoes be lying sometimes. So
They
Them tomatoes
do.
do be lying.
You gotta
They
remember
do.
them tomatoes are rotten, bro. They
yeah,
rotten.
them tomatoes is rotten.
Them tomatoes do be lying sometimes, man.
But speaking of trailers, not to cut you off, trailers has came a long way because my son has never seen the Warriors before. Have y'all heard of the Warriors?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Come
the
out to
war.
play.
Brandy. I'm gonna send it to you. But anyway, that movie came
I've never
out.
seen it. Yeah.
You never seen? Have you heard of it? It's a cult classic.
No, I haven't. I haven't heard of the Warriors.
Okay,
Heard,
okay, but it came out in 70. Came out in 75. Right, 1975. So long story short, the trailer was like in the world.
Oh, Don
Yeah.
Fontaine type voice.
Yeah, they like, they have to travel from one end to Coney Island. The Warriors.
Yeah, trailers did used to be narrated. It did.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? The only ones that do that now are horror ones, and they don't even do it. I remember when what was it? La Llorona or something. It was like a scary movie. And it was like, the trailer was like that. Like, there's a lot of horror movies that only do the narrative trailer nowadays. And maybe we need to bring that essence back.
The only horror movie trailer I said it didn't do that and had me hooked was It 2. Not It 1, It 2. When that girl was sitting in there in that old lady house, that was a whole scene that they put on that trailer. That was crazy.
That in A Quiet Place.
Oh, yeah, The Quiet Place, yeah.
Quiet Place is my film.
Yeah.
Quiet Place. No, nothing in the trailer. It was just straight.
Yeah.
I have a line I draw with horror films. I
don't watch horror films a lot either. I don't watch horror films.
Yeah.
I just but the ones that
thrillers, I may watch slashers, but horror like paranormal.
Nope.
Bro. I watched Annabelle. I watched Annabelle. I watched Annabelle Creations. Look, I watched Annabelle Creations at 1:00.
No, you gotta go.
All the lights everybody was asleep.
Oh no, no.
That's my type of horror. It got to be
what?
Annabelle?
No,
yeah,
you're not finna me.
I'm not doing it. I'm not watching paranormal. I'm not watching nothing with no Ouija
The Nun. I watched The Nun.
The Nun.
Okay. So, Mike, do you believe the stuff that you're watching? Do you believe that could be true?
No, I don't.
That's how you're probably.
Okay. You know what?
See, that's the thing. I believe.
Me too.
That's
spirits ain't gonna come.
I believe in this. I believe in the spiritual realm.
I do believe in the spiritual world, but I'm like,
to an
if
extent,
it happens,
he's like, no, some of this ain't real. So that's how.
Yeah.
Now, I'm looking at it like I don't want this to be true. I don't know yet, and I don't want it to be true, so I ain't watching it.
Oh, exactly. Annabelle was the one about the possession. Are you kidding me? Oh no.
Oh yeah.
I'm good.
You know what? We just gonna have to have a full panel discussion about these horror movies, I love where this conversation is going. I love what we talking about. But like I said, we definitely gonna have to talk about this we're gonna just invite everybody, horror buffs and the others. Like, I'm not missing possession, not like that. We definitely.
The show will be 3 hours if we keep going. So
we gotta stop, man.
Yeah, man. So, but other than that, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a Critics Corner. This has been a good discussion, but we definitely gonna pick up this again on John's IP Room, ladies and gentlemen. So stay locked in. We have a great guest that is on the way. James, I don't want to butcher this man's last name, so we're gonna get this on the other side. Make sure get confirmation saying his last name. Yeah, but this is gonna be a great guest. So y'all stay locked in to Just Acting Up Show. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to have this gentleman here join us. Husband, father, actor, writer, director, so many multi-hyphenated, sir, teacher. Round of applause for James Ciccone, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me in here, man. It's an honor.
No, it's an honor, sir. We thank you, and so appreciate it. I know it's crazy, early craziness going on, but thank you for riding through the storm and joining us. So thank you, sir, much.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, where are you originally from? Your mommy asked. I hear the accent, but I just want to just double check. Where are you originally
from? That's deep in the south of Brooklyn, New York. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, born and raised New Yorker. Distinct. Interesting. You mentioned. I was just discussing this the other day when I had started acting years ago. I had dipped my foot in the arts. I went to performing arts high school as a kid, and I studied with Uta Hagen. And then I got away from the arts. I was a musician as a kid. I played trumpet and did some acting, but not really seriously. And then, like later on, some 20-something years later, as an adult, I went back to do this and trying to figure out my path in my 40s, trying to navigate how to do this. And several people had said, "Oh, you have to take voice lessons. You have to work on that accent, get rid of that accent and stuff." And every professional, when I would ask like a casting director or professional, they would all laugh at me and say, "No, that's why you're going to work. That's the only reason you'll work." So it's really the things that that sometimes we think are our deficiencies that are our strengths. When you look at it from that vantage point, you'll realize. I just did Dexter, and there's David Zayas is on there, and I loved his work. I seen him in Michael Clayton, a film he did with George Clooney many years ago, and I could say this guy must have had a speech impediment as a kid. You could hear he's got a little bit of a lisp, and it's just what makes him so unique that you want to listen to more. You want to say, "Oh, this guy grabs you." Forrest Whitaker has that crooked eye, right? You can't stop looking at him when he's on the screen. And that's the things that make us special and unique. What was it? Kenneth Michael Williams. Am I saying it right? Boardwalk Empire. He passed away a couple of years ago, but he had this big rip on his face. Yeah, right. Yeah. And I remember when I worked with him on Boardwalk Empire. Well, I didn't work opposite him, but I had, watched the show. And I was like, and The Wire as well, from the showrunners David Simon and them, yeah. And I'm like, is that real, or is that makeup? And it was a real rip. And you would think that somebody would, with this rip on their face the last thing they'd be doing is acting, but it's why he's on the camera. It's the authenticity, and there's a story behind that. When you look at somebody and say, there's a story, there's a history there. Whether it's a lisp or a crooked eye, or you wonder, like, what was that like growing up? Where people say, you had this. Because I used to get a lazy eye as a kid as well. So, sometimes you get people who bully you or tease you or whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah. See, I fought my bullies back in the day, so I understand where they found out real quick. And I was like, "Hey, had to knuckle up." Yes, sir. So, Q, go ahead, brother. I know you had a question for him.
Yeah. So how you doing, James? I see you got a list here: actor, acting coach, writer, director. And like looking at your Instagram, what I was drawn to was the way you're doing those selfies with I guess your acting classes.
Oh, in the class, yeah.
I see a lot of passion there. So I just want to know, like, what keeps that passion for you?
It's the community. It's all community. And if any of you have a church background or anything like that, but you understand the value or faith community. Community is, we don't do things by ourselves. We don't do things in isolation.
Yeah.
We're as good as the circle of people we put ourselves around. And it's the community that makes that group special. The actors who show up every week. And I don't even like to think of myself as an acting teacher. I rather look at myself as a colleague, of the people in the community. And I learned that from Uta Hagen many years ago. She always used the term colleagues when she talked about. She says, your colleagues, like the other actors in the class, and that's what it is. We're all, I teach from the perspective of an actor, which is different than some people who are casting directors who teach, or some people who never acted who teach. who taught, never who teach, but they never acted. So, I understand rejection. I understand, putting the name in a hat 100 times before something will happen or something might not happen. Uh, but so I know what it is to grow to a point of where hey, somebody's giving you an opportunity, and be okay with, like, that's whenever an opportunity is there, to enjoy that and embrace it. So when I share that with the other actors in the community, and I think that's what attracts so many people to the group.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
I
and
think
I can see that in those photos, like a true passion there, true love for it. Nice.
Yeah, it's also my identity. It's we were talking about this. There was a scene in class that we were working on Thursday night, and it was like we use mostly episodic network stuff. We only want to use real material. It's a different type of writing. And it was a scene where the detective was trying to hold on to his job, and his lover on the side was going to testify against him. And so I talked to the actor. The other actor was doing the scene, playing the detective. I'm like, well, what does that mean for him to lose his job? It's not just a job. Well, okay, I'll go do construction, or I'll go do IT work or something like that. That's his identity. That's the existence of who he is. When he walks in a diner or wherever, he's a cop. Everybody knows he's a detective. It's part of the way he postures and his whole relationship to the world, and vice versa. So likewise with me, being at the helm of an acting community, it's my identity. It's who I am. It's which is important, and yeah, I'm passionate about it. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then do you see that same passion, like looking at yourself outer bodily as far as going into writing? How do you know when you have something good, and do you always, kind of correct yourself in your writing? Like, don't get lazy in the art since you've been doing it for so many years.
Yeah, I think that whatever we do, I think once an artist, whether it be an actor, or writer, or whatever, or a filmmaker, or an indie filmmaker, whatever, thinks they know what they're doing, I think they're in trouble, because you need to be in a perpetual state of growth.
Always learning. Yeah.
Perpetual state. How can I do this better? How can I look at some of the things, like I never self-taped, different markets like Atlanta was always self-taping. It had something to do with like the gas strike and the prices of gas many, many years ago. So they were always like people were putting themselves on tape. As a New York actor, everything I booked before COVID was going in a room, getting a call back the next day, going with a producer, which is a very different thing. But once they started with the taping, it's we're in a different world, in a different animal. So yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah. What was the last piece of that question you had stated? Can you restate that again?
It's basically asking, how do you know that when you're writing something, it's not just
Right. Now I remember. Yes.
write, but that there's always a passion there to write something great, write something well. Yeah.
Yeah. So as I was saying, like, we always want to get better. So even with the taping, like when we were on COVID, I was saying I got to get good at taping, because I know we're going to go in that direction. So I would, become obsessed with, well, where's the camera belong? Where do the lights belong? Like, is the background good? Is that, just how am I framed? All this basic stuff.
Okay.
And even, and I booked a lot of stuff, and I'm still, booking now even more than then, but I'm still looking at how can it be better. And I go back, as you say, like a writer, I go back to the older tapes I looked at, and I say, well, I wouldn't do them like that now, because I feel they're a lot better. And it's the same with writing. Like how can the writing be better? How can, a project, how can my shot list, if I'm shooting something, be better? My choices.
Right.
So we're always in this element of growth. We should be always in an element of how can it be better. When I worked with De Niro, there's this film out now called Alto Nights. It's a mob movie. So I'm in the film. I play a character mostly in the second half, but I play Carlo Gambino. He's a real mob character. But first thing I did was went on tape, and then they said, save the date. I didn't know if I was going to get a line. I didn't know nothing. Then I went into screen test with him, to actually go in and work on these scenes with him and Barry Levinson, the director, great Academy Award director, Rain Man, Dope Sick, right, Euphoria, all that stuff. And then I went back again to work with him for another 25 minutes because he's playing two characters. So I had he's playing opposite himself with prosthetics, but he needed another actor to do those scenes with him. And one of the things I noticed is that, and this is really in relation to your question about, how do you grow and get better, is everything he was doing, he was saying, what do you think? How do you feel? What do you want to do? And I noticed, like, it's, one of the greatest actors of our time, he's tons of, awards and accolades and great films. And like, this is a guy who I think he knows how to do it. And I noticed he's still in a state of learning and growing, which I said, that's a great lesson to take.
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh. Oh, well, James, I had a question for you. So I know you briefly touched on your background originally, but could you like give us a glimpse of, your upbringing and what made you want to get into acting, or what was that moment you're like, this is for me?
It's a great question. Only because I have an interesting answer, right? So I grew up in I'm the youngest of 10 kids. So we grew up hard. We grew up poor. My dad died when I was young. So, single mom raised us. It's kind of crazy and stuff, but there's a lot of love there. So, yeah. And, as I said, I played trumpet. I still play a little bit. I'm looking at
Cool.
but yeah, so I kind of escaped into the arts, into the music and that sort of thing. I went to that famed school when I did the movie, like performing arts. In fact, when I was there, it was the year they were filming the movie, but we didn't even know what they were doing. They had used some exterior shots and stuff. Al Pacino had gone to that school. The big story then was like, well, Al Pacino went here, but he's like, 20 years older than me, but he didn't graduate. He left. So everybody was like, well, Pacino can drop out, right? Make it, so yeah, well, I
Yeah.
So I had, kind of went on through life trying to figure out what I was doing, some bad choices here or there and stuff like that, like most of us will make in life. And anyway, I wound up in seminary, and I was in New York Theological Seminary's Master of Divinity program. And so I was in the life of the church, and I had gone through the Master of Divinity program, and then they invited me into the doctorate program. So I did the doctorate ministry program. And so public schools have what we call substitute teachers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when pastors go on vacation or they're out sick, they have what's called pulpit supply. So I was doing, I wasn't ordained, I was considering it, but I was doing pulpit supply. So I would go into, like, it's like the acting community. There's a church community. All the pastors know each other. All the actors know each other. So I was doing, in the summer, I would preach for a pastor who was away with family or something like that. I would go in and do pulpit supply. And, it's kind of like, you write this monologue, right? You get off book and you go up and perform. Like it's really not, it's just standing up in front of a group of people and just doing it in front of the church. So I was doing some soul searching and saying, well, what is it I really want to do? Is this really the commitment I want to make? And I kind of wavered on it. And I realized that I loved performing. And that's when I went and answered the calling of acting instead of the calling of the ministry, I guess you could say.
Okay. So do you approach, I know you said you did theater, do you approach film and theater differently, or do you kind of keep the same mindset going into it?
No, it's very different. There are some people like a great acting teacher and friend, Ross Meyerson, casting director. He actually cast Dexter. He said, he says there's no difference. Like, good acting is good acting, and I get that. But the difference in doing it is, and Sam Jackson says this too. He says, like, in a film, and we all know this, in a film we're going to shoot stuff backwards, or wherever we get the locations that make sense. We might be shooting, page 20, page 60, and page 80 in one day in that apartment location or whatever it is. So The theater is, it's kind of like, it's just the journey of a story that starts from here and then it goes and to the end. So the character is going to live this life and this journey in this 2 hour period that's going to be changed in sequence of the writing. That's what's going to happen. And it's one piece that's going through. So it's a very different way of, I think, feeling and being present. Theater also is, of course, the body's the instrument. The movement, the physicality is very different than in front of the camera. So in front of the camera, a lot of things are shot. And also what you're seeing in the film is, the best take or of maybe 8 takes or whatever, how many takes they did, that the director and the editor think is the best take. So you have no control over that. The Denzel says, you could think you're crushing it and this and that. And like, you can't think that way because, when you see it on the film, they might be looking at your feet or something at that moment or your hands. Like, you just don't know. So,
Yeah.
But for the camera, everything is much smaller, so much smaller. And this is why.
Yeah, Ronson talks about that. Yeah.
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 If you want to book film and television, you almost have to be invisible.
Mm.
Because if they want to create a big moment, all you have to do is stand there and they put a little music in.
Okay.
Oh, here it is. So you really have to, and a lot of like newer, younger actors will be under the impression that, hey, like I have to have this big moment because it says in the action is like, this big element of fear comes over him.
Yeah.
And well, they can film with television, they could create that element of fear with just, a lighting cue, a little music underneath, and the push in with the camera, and all you have to do is stand there. So, directors, they know that and understand that, and they're really looking for the actor who knows and understands that. And, like when we shot Dexter this week, there's a lot of little, the blocking, right? So you get on set and you're worried about, a new actor be all worried about their lines. I know my lines, I got my lines. And then when you get there, you realize that's not as important as the blocking. Like,
Yes.
come over, hit this mark, go here, hold up this trinket, hold it up for the camera so we could see it well. And if you hold it this way, it's wrong. Or if you manipulate the prop, it's wrong. So those little intricacies of hitting your mark. And there's what's his name? My friend, what's his name? I have the book here. I might have put it back on the shelf. But he's an Emmy Award-winning editor, and he wrote a book, How to Avoid the Cutting Room Floor. And pretty much what he says in the book is that, hey, look, we love actors and we don't want to cut actors out. Now, sometimes, particularly doing that couple of line co-star, of course, you want all 3 or 4 of your lines to be on camera, but it might not be, it might be more the reaction, this or that. And sometimes because of time, especially like network TV has to fit in that, 42 minutes of airtime and 18 minutes of commercial, whatever the number is, right?
Right.
So that you don't have control over. He says, but the biggest reason why actors get cut is they miss their mark and they mess up their eye line. So like when there's a mark on the floor, you have to hit it. The focus puller is not the guy in the camera, it's somebody over there handling a wheel, and the second team stands in and they mark the shots and that focus is locked. And then when you come in to do it, if you miss that mark, the shot's going to be out of focus. If you miss the eye line, you're supposed to be looking here and you're looking here, the match shot in the edit doesn't really work. So it's more of this ballet of, being able to move on camera in these little boxes and these little tight shots. Whereas theater is, you have this whole world of using your body and movement to project to the audience, and just film and television is a very different piece. It's a very different thing.
James, I love, I just love that. And it's cool because I'm an acting coach as well, SAG eligible. I've been on some SAG sets, and but my main thing is my main niche is catered towards beginner actors, specifically actors who I love self tapes. When I actually got signed with my agency was right when COVID happened, so I had only one in-person audition. So I've always noticed that when I talk to more experienced and seasoned actors in the business like yourself, you guys, talk about the history of being in the room. And when I started, I had to learn how to be comfortable with tapes. And I hear actors all the time talk about how they miss being in the room. So I have two questions. My first question for you is, what is one thing that you think takes a self-tape from good to great? I mean, one that gets you pinned, one that gets that avail check, one that gets that callback.
So it's a couple of things that I see actors blunder with, right? So a couple of things. As far as the acting goes or the technical element, there's two different pieces of it, right?
Yeah.
So again, I kind of answered that before. Actors think they need to be big in the context of the writing when they don't. They really need to be small. Big general mistakes with self-tape that I see is pace. Like, you hear the way we're talking, we talk pretty quick in life, and a lot of times we start talking before the other person's done talking because we know what they're saying. So there's this if our job is to create authentic behavior and to be believable, well, how do we talk in real life? We talk just, quickly. So people get on, they do a self-tape, and then their pace gets real slow like this. And a big reason too is because the reader, I see more readers sabotage people's tapes because the reader is, I get sides all over the place, but the reader is, just reading out loud. And when we read out loud, we generally read slower. So now the reader shouldn't really act the scene, which is, you don't want them to steal your scene. You don't want them to upstage the scene, but they need to push those words quickly so that your pace is going to be authentic. Right. So you see the pace. Pace is a big thing. Framing is another thing. Every audition I get says it. It should be framed like this: from the head up, no additional space. Chest, the head up, no additional space. And so many people do their auditions like this, which I've seen even loosen, belly button up with space above the head. So just look at the difference, how I'm talking now to you. And now, how about this guy? Right. So this guy, if you want to watch this guy, he's so much more present with you. Right. It's a close-up shot. The medium, that's what they want in the audition. But the real trick to self-taping, first of all, I always like to be on a third for the most part, because most close-up shots are on the third anyway. Right. So we have generally not centered. You don't want to look into the camera. You want to be on a third, just slightly off center. But see, here's the thing. When we shoot stuff, we have all these different camera shots, right? We have like the establishing shot, the medium shot,
the two shot, yeah.
Right, the track, the pan shot. We have all these things that are storytelling for the camera. But yet we get the self-tape. We have this one static shot on a tripod or whatever you're on, stick, right? And we just stay here. So to compensate that, what I do is I love to move in the frame. Very, very minimal. But I like to be on the third, and I like to kind of have my body a little rotated. Now, you see, but one shoulder closer to the camera than the other is more interesting than this. This looks like, somebody just got arrested for a DWI or something, right? You don't want to have this. Kind of boring. But this guy is more interesting, and he could do more. To get the moment that gets very private and personal, I could just move in a quarter of an inch, right? And now I've created a different space. Where if I want to get inferior and smaller, I could just come back a little. So the movement in the frame, everybody thinks they need to be in the frame. That's a misnomer. When I booked The Equalizer, a lot of the audition, I was actually out of the frame. This is this creepy guy who was like, it was like this, like on the side of the shot. What do you mean? Be right back. So, they want to follow you and watch you. Don't think the safeness of in the frame is good. That was like my earlier stuff. So look, I've seen people book with being in the middle. I've booked with just being here, but I think it's more creative when, you could do a little bit minimal.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with the props. Like, I've booked a lot of stuff with props, but I'm a big fan of telling people, look, no props. Don't use the props, Yeah, there's no reason to use the props. There's probably Jehovah's Witnesses. They come. Let me just check my camera. They come. They come often. But where's the camera? Unless it was Amazon. Yeah, it's Amazon. Okay, it's one or the other. It's Amazon. Anyway, yeah. So, but we were just saying the
props.
Props.
Yeah. So some of my bigger roles, there was one where I had actually used this book. It was about the FBI Most Wanted. It was a Top of Show guest started there last year. And it was like they were bringing this guy to Mob Guy's, ledger, right? Ooh. And so I just like kind of had it here for a second and then dropped it out of the frame. So if it's out of the frame, I'm looking at it. But if I establish it and get it out, ooh, but not these ledger. It's now you can't take your eyes off me. If I keep this here, you're going to look at the book.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Use the outside of the frame. Yep.
yeah. If you put a prop in the frame, they're going to look at it.
Mhm.
And this is one of my acting teachers and mentor. He's actually VP of casting for CBS, the Art of Audition. He says no props. Now he comes more from the in-person world of the audition, right? So that's when he wrote this book. He did revise it since COVID. But the general notion is we're going to use props, use them sparingly. And if they don't, and if they don't add to the work, then there's no reason for them. The one I booked on Dexter, the scene starts with me handing a watch over to the other person. And I just ignored it. I said, I'm going to start the scene where I'm looking at the watch in her hand, in the detective's hand. Is that your victim's watch? But then we get past this whole thing. It doesn't have any value, right? So
Gotcha.
Love it. So second question I have for you. First off, I love that, Jim. I love that I tell students it's a suspension of disbelief, using the frame, using outside of the frame to create that and not always having to pantomime. My second question, and you talked about this being at screen testing with Robert De Niro. So what advice would you give someone who's just booked their first co-star, under 5, or a guest star, and they have a scene with the series regular? Like what as far as mindset and nerves, because I had a co-star that that's happening this year. It was on Netflix, and I had a scene with the series regular. I have scene right with him. I had dialogue, and I would love to know what's your advice to approaching the nerves of that.
Well, you're most likely going to be working opposite the series regulars. I mean, that's what the guest star is doing. That's what the co-star is doing. They're kind of supporting, moving the story along, giving exposition, or maybe you have a story arc if you've got, if the guest star has some importance there. But either way, you're almost always going to be active at number 1 and number 2 on the call sheet. I mean, it might be low, or maybe it's not, but for the most part, it's logical to think that you're going to interact with the main characters on the show. I mean, it's their show, so they're going to be in the, so you're going to interact with them. Look, they're just people. They do it all day long, and I think what you'll notice with them is, you're working on your stuff all week. They might not have even looked at it until they got to set, because you get real used to doing this stuff on a short notice, and you get real good at it when you do it every day. So I would, the best advice I can give is be prepared to do some blocking. If there's props as they're moving, as they're walking, practice the scene. I'm going to walk and I'm going to stop here and I'm going to turn if it's a walk and talk, because a lot of actors just worry about their lines going in, and that's going to take second place to all the other stuff we talked about before about movement. Where do I got to be? If there's prop like this one with Dexter, as soon as they told me, I want you to hold up these serial killer trophy things, right? I'm going to hold them up, the camera, and across the street, whatever the scenario was. As soon as I said, give me the props. I want to get comfortable with them. So I want to keep manipulating. If you have a prop to handle, just ask the person, I want to manipulate the prop. I want to handle the prop, because perfect example, I did Blacklist years ago, a great show with James Spader, and I had a guest star.
Great show.
3 or 4 scenes with him. And I was this a guy who owned a hotel, his name is Gabinelli. And he comes in, and I had set somebody up before, and then now he's going to get the drop on me. So I had to give him a room key, room number 6, when he walks in. So as soon as they, set the board up and everything was set, I say, let me get the keys. I want to, because if I'm the guy who owns that hotel for 20 years, I'm grabbing those keys off the hook, right? That's the real authentic. It can't look like it's the first time I'm pulling a key off the hook.
Right.
So get comfortable with the props, the movement, the environment, understand the world. And that's really important. Another thing, don't worry about, I remember I worked with a girl on Bull, and it was her first thing she booked. She went to Tisch NYU, and she had a 2-liner. It was a very small thing, and she was so nervous. I say, I says, we're past the audition. I'm like, the part starts. They can't take it from me. We're going to be here as long as it takes. So don't even worry about it. I said, and you see like the lead making mistakes and redoing it again. And that's why, we do multiple shots. Don't worry about it. Everybody's there to support you. We're going to, it's going to do it. You mess it up. It's not a big deal. We're going to do it again. You're not going to lose the job at that point. You'll just, take that pressure off yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, I love that. Love it. Thank you.
Now, I have a question. How was it working on set of The Irishman?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Marty actually directed the scene. I know some people who worked in the film, they kind of were working with the first AD and not Marty. So Marty came over and Joe was there and Joe Pesci. And, we just, talked a little bit. And he says, what are we going to talk, what are we going to kind of talk about? We improv some stuff. And of course, it was much more than what made the final cut.
Right.
But so I did it. So Marty comes over and he's like, I love it. Give me more. He's just like a really fun guy. He's there's no pressure with him. I mean, he gets what he wants out of people, of course, but he's just a fun, creative guy. And it was a lot of fun working on it. So I wish it was more, of course, but it was good. It was a good day working with him. And I had worked with him previously, and I'm gonna go and show this quick triangle to you guys in a second, which is something I believe in. I had worked with him he did a documentary. It was the Rolling Stone documentary. It was called Shine a Light. And he had, I think when I went in, I got out of focus, right? Let's see. Wait. So I had played like his detective escort or something. So I met him before and worked with him a little bit before. I'm actually in a scene with him. But it's a documentary, so it wasn't like a big deal. But he's just a great, fun, regular, everyday guy. He's got a great sense of humor, very easy to, he manages. I'm sure he's under a lot of pressure. Like that film went over budget tremendously. It shot forever. It was very long, maybe too long. But he seems to keep his cool. He seems to have it under control. It was a good one. It was a lot of fun. Fun. So with this is a triangle, right? So a lot of people don't know this. It's going to go out of focus for a second. You're the CEO of your business. And over here you have your reps, representation, casting directors, and I'm sorry. Over here you have the reps, right? The agents and managers, whatever you have. That's your rep, right? Over here is casting directors, right? You can't get in the room, you can't audition until the casting director says yes. So these are relationships, right? So the relationship with the casting director starts the first time you read for them, the first time you audition, or whatever it is. Let me get this a little closer here. Here we go. All right. It's the first time you audition, right? Another self-tape trick, by the way, if I put that triangle closer to the camera, then I get very small, right? Same thing with a prop. If you're holding a gun up to the camera, like we talked about props, my hand gets giant, now my face gets small. So a trick is to tuck your arm back and try and put the gun here so it has some sort of consistent size in relation to the frame. You get what I'm saying? So, right, so this triangle is this size. If I put it in front, it's going to get big and my face is going to get small. So just keep that in mind with the props, where you put them, how big they get and how small they get. So the relationships. The first time you meet a casting director is the start of that relationship. First time you audition for them. First time you read for them, right? Ronson, you're reading, you're booking your co-star. So that casting director now has a relationship with you. Hopefully those auditions will turn into callbacks, turn into pins. Maybe they see you work on TV. Oh yeah, that guy's perfect with something I have in mind. And those over time, this relationship gets better with the casting director. Better. That's same with your rep. I know a lot of actors sitting around waiting a year. I got one audition, two audition. Because they do this. They say, oh, the agent and manager is the head of my business. No, it's not true. It's not true. And it's a big mistake to think of it that way. You're the head, you're the CEO of your business. And if this relationship ain't working, it's just like if you have a business, you have salesmen under you, salespeople under you, whatever, you got to either fix the relationship or change it. So, unfortunately, that's how it goes. Well, what can you do to fix a relationship with a rep? Maybe figure out how to build some sort of friendship, comradeship with them, or give them something to work with. Maybe you got some new footage, or maybe you're meeting casting directors in classes. Say, hey, I just met this person. They like my work. Keep an eye out for what they're casting. And then underneath here, you have the casting director rep relationships. And some CDs have better relationships with some reps. My agent might have a better relationship with this CD than my manager, so, or vice versa. So that's why it's good to have a team of people working for you in a perfect world. But you're always going to be the CEO. A lot of things I get are from me just reaching out to CDs or keeping a relationship with them and working with them in classes. That's how I got ahead. You can't get on TV unless the casting director knows you're alive. There's just no other way to it. Now, how can I know you're alive? Either from your own efforts or from the reps' efforts. So, and I think both should be working to make that. Over time, that triangle will get smaller. You get the idea. The triangle is going to get smaller over time as you get better relationships with the casting directors. And inside here is your community. Those are the people who are going to read for you and that other stuff, like the class community. That's how it works. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
James, I just want to say I appreciate you.
Mhm.
I also want to say that I like what you're saying because the people that you're talking to understand what you're saying. And I don't know how much you know about Houston, but we're an overlooked city.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of great talent. These guys are some of the most talented, including myself. But I do have to go, so I just wanted to give you your flowers because I appreciate hearing you, and it's the things that I'm thinking about when I'm on set. So it lets me know you're letting me know that I am on the right path and that my art is basically in the right direction. And I've won some awards and stuff for it and things like that. But it's been a great talking to you. But just one thing before I go, and you'll probably answer it. I might not be on camera when you answer it, but hold on one second, because I do have to kind of take off. But it was because of a picture that I saw you have. But this right here is my vision board, right?
Oh, great.
And now I'm gonna pinch in. You see that person right there? Might look familiar.
It's a little blurred out. Who is it? Is it?
Robin
Robin
Williams.
Williams.
It looks. I was going to say it looked like George Bush to me. I don't know. Like,
Robin Williams, and then there's
oh,
one.
Robin Williams. Yeah.
Yep, hold on, one more. Wait, let me make sure I'm going the right way here. Oh, yeah. So he was really a person that I gravitated to just as far as his art and feeling like,
Oh,
oh, that's the
Robin
kind of person I
Williams.
see
Yeah.
myself as. So I just wanted you to just maybe drop some gems of what you learned and how it was, what we would get working with a person like that, and Queen Latifah. And like I said, I don't know if I'll be here for it, but I watched this taping back. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
So Robin Williams, I worked with him on an episode of SVU many years ago. And, it's, man, you just don't know what's going on inside a person, right? He
Yeah.
was the nicest, generous, gracious guy, like just smiling, like, and what a talent. If you see him in that movie, Good Will Hunting, where he plays like the teacher, and like he's just really talented. I mean, to go from comedy to drama, like he could do anything. Really, really talented guy. Yeah, really nice, and it's just so sad to lose him as a talent.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, depression is real. I mean, you just don't see it coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was fortunate to be able to be in his company. So yeah, absolutely. Queen Latifah she's great. I mean, she's so talented. She shows up. She just does it. Again, no preparation. It's like, what are we doing today? What is it? Da-da-da. And then she'll work it out. And that's the thing of like, being number one on the call sheet is a big responsibility. To be number one in the call sheet. And yeah, she really handles that well in terms of the work, but also in terms of making everybody else feel included. That's important. The worst thing for a set, because everybody matters on the set, whether it's the guy doing a line or the guy holding a light. And number one on the call sheet is responsibility to let that energy and that, ethic sort of trickle down on everyone. So I had played this kind of grungy super in a haunted building. And, I'd worked a week on the show because the way they shot a piece here, a piece there. So I worked three days. So I had a weekly. And so I worked with her. She was very, very nice, worked with her very nice. And then when I wrapped, I'm walking out to the parking lot, and she's coming out with, I guess, her bodyguard, whoever, the person who kind of walks her around, right? And I says, Queen, let's grab a picture together. And she's like, yeah, right. I realized she doesn't know who I am. Like, I had like regular clothes on, a hat on backwards.
Yeah.
And we take the picture, and she stops and she looks at me and she's like, oh shit. She says that, because they had makeup on me, they had my hair all crazy. And I was like, damn, I didn't even realize that was you, she said. Yeah, that was fun. It was a funny moment. Yeah. She's good. Yeah.
Nice. And just follow up before I go. How important, back to you and like directing, how important is it to take your time, or is there instances where you can still get the same level of artistry, putting some urgency behind it the day set, like?
It's both. So, and I'll tell you what, I learned this from the guy, Larry. I worked on Joker. I was there 13 days. You don't see me in a lot of the movie, but I did get to work with Todd Phillips, and I was in the band. So we went on the music. I had to sit next to Todd Phillips a couple of days. We're not the real musicians, but we had to learn all the fingerings. You really don't see much of the band, but it was supposed to be like a heckling trumpet player. But the DP, Larry, he had said something, I was talking to him for a minute, and, he's tremendous Academy Award winning. I don't know if he won the Academy Award, but he's definitely an award winning director of photography. What he said is so true. He said, filmmakers are problem solvers. He said, so because, you don't know what's going to happen, right? So be diligent with your shot list. Be really diligent to know what you want to get out of the day. Make that shot list, stay true to it as best as you can. But when things happen, like when you got an outside shoot and it starts to rain, or this or that, or you lose the light, or you lose the location at the last minute, you have to be a problem solver. And that's what he was talking about. Sometimes, especially with low budget stuff, you're getting what we call guerrilla shots, where you don't have permits. You're just trying to steal shots on streets and things like that. You have to use your creativity and always know that, look, it's not going to fail. It's just going to be a different version. We're just going to do it on our feet and get creative. So it's really both. It's really, sometimes you have to change things on the fly.
Gotcha.
Or sometimes you'll see something. You'll be like, wow, like look at that background. Look at that. That's a great shot. We could, use that. So yeah, just both.
Yeah.
Really.
Most definitely, man. James, it's so many questions but I know so much time we can only share. But you've been in so many projects from TV to film, Joker, Equalizer, Alton Knights, so many. Even The Deuce, the one that you've been on, for yourself. What are some of your personal favorites as we get close to wrap up the interview? What are some of your personal favorite projects you've been?
Yeah, geez, that's a tough one. The Deuce was Deuce was great. It was, it was 3 seasons. I was a recurrent about 25% of the episodes for 3 seasons. I was there, and the show only ran 3 seasons. So working with James Franco was great. He had just won like the Academy Award the year before Best Actor. It was 127 hours or something. He was the hiker who was stuck he had to cut his arm off to get out. He won that like the year before or something. So he was pretty on fire. It was directed by him 5 times. That was good. It's good to be like when you're a part of a show instead of just coming in for an episode and then you're out. I mean, it's great. You're in for an episode and you're out. It's great, but you're really more part of like all the hair and makeup people know you. Everybody knows you when you're going to do episodes throughout the season, even if it's just a couple. You're part of the story. I think The Alto Nights, which is in theaters now, I think it's probably going to come out of theaters this week with Robert De Niro. It's a mob film. We shot that in Ohio, so they kept flying me back and forth. I was out there for probably the entire 3 months, back and forth that we shot it. Again, I'm not in a huge amount of the movie, but I'm in the second half. But that was great to be like part of the whole project and to work, obviously with De Niro and Barry Levinson and just be around Deborah Messing, Kathy Narducci, and Cosmo Jarvis, who's a British actor. He's one of the lead Shogun. They brought him in to play a part. Michael Rispoli, of course, who I worked with in The Deuce. I worked with him in Power Book 3. I worked, so that was really good because you're part of it. I'll bring it. I had my name on the chair. That's always nice.
Yeah.
It is nice.
Yeah. So every time you work, like they bring your chair, your name on it, and then when it's a picture wrap on you, which was really nice, Barry Levinson, he called the first AD, he says, get James in here. It says picture wrap on him. So they call you in and they say, hey, and that's a picture wrap, and everybody applauds. And then the second AD kind of presents you with the chair, with the back of the cloth thing. He says, here, this is for you. I have it over here. It's a keepsake. So that's a nice thing. You know, you feel like, and then the movie comes out and then they cut like, 4 of your scenes out. That's a whole other, I mean, look, you always have to realize that, and this is for TV, film, or everything. It's not about you. Like you have to be okay with like, it's about the lead of the film. It's about, it's their show and you're just a piece of it. So, just be realistic with that.
Yes.
Maisel was a really good one. I had a nice monologue, which is rare to do monologue on TV. I played a priest and a Monsignor Ricci. And I got to do the eulogy of an actor who actually died the season. He died that year, and they were writing him off the show. So they wrote his funeral into the show, and I got to do this eulogy about him, which was really good. It was fun. Yeah. That was a good thing to work with Rachel Brosnahan and Alex Borstein. They're tremendously talented. She did a monologue behind me in the next scene. Man, it was like she's just powerful. Yeah. I saw a movie yesterday with Rami Malek and Rachel Brosnahan last night in the theaters, which was pretty cool. Yeah.
So what's something that fans would be surprised to learn about you?
About me? Well, like you said, most people don't know, like I went through seminary, which I said before. And like,
that is surprising.
So I just auditioned for it because I usually play the mobster. I usually play like the gruff detective, the New York guy. But because I went to seminary, I was able to get that Monsignor role because I told him, I said, hey, I went to seminary. And then in Power Book 3, I play a priest doing a baptism in Latin, which the audition was really hard. I mean, when they shot it, there wasn't a lot of it. And then I just auditioned last night for another project, which is he's doing a funeral in Latin. He does the Latin mass in the funeral mass, the requiem. So that's like a special skill. Sometimes, special skills sometimes can get you hired. The trumpet got me the Joker. I don't really play that well anymore, but it's enough to, okay, you know how to manipulate the instrument. One of the earlier ones I used to box when I was younger, so I understood how to move around the ring. And I played a referee in White Collar with Matt Bomer and Tim DeKay.
Nice.
So, yeah, that was a fun thing to be able to, that was the first part I think I did was multiple days where I had dialogue, so. And that's, look, for me, it doesn't have to be like this for everyone. It doesn't have to be where you do, you do how can I say it? You don't have to start doing student films and then go to co-stars. We had actors, the first thing they book is a guest star. You have people out of the gate, they get lucky and they go right to the top. Yeah. So, but for me, it was, I started with the 2-line co-star and then 2 days, 2 episodes. And, and then sometimes, you still get offered to do a small part. So, it's work, you take it. I get my medical insurance and I'm vested in a pension to the union from, all the years just from the residuals. So I can continue to be a starting actor, as they say, got to book stuff every year to keep going. But yeah, I mean, it's hard work. You got to keep pushing. But
hard work, yes.
Luck, I think luck is the greatest thing you want to have. Like, you got to have luck in this business. I would think, yeah, because you can be super talented and they never compete, right? It could be between 2 people at the end and they just pick this guy. And now he's got a career and you don't. You get that one role in a movie that it becomes like the greatest movie on the planet. And even though you have a couple of lines or it's like a cliche line or something, everybody will know you. You could have a giant part in a film that flops or like this Alto Nights didn't do very well in the reviews. Or a TV series that really nobody watches, or if you get a part in like Stranger Things or Game of Thrones, then everybody's going to see you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like not only you got to get lucky to get the part, then you got to get lucky that the show goes well. So things got to line up. It's how it goes.
But James, once again, I appreciate you for joining us. You have shared a lot of gems, a lot of advice. If you had,
I know they're shooting something in Texas now. I think they were shooting something.
tell us.
Yeah, please.
I can find it because hold on. Okay, give me 1 second. I'll see if I can log into my this information that I have here.
I wonder if it's Landman.
Is it Land? I know they have Landman.
There's a couple things shooting here. The Chosen shooting here.
The Chosen.
Yeah. So you probably know better than me, but I seen something recently. Let me just.
I'm on a go check for The Chosen, y'all. Fingers crossed.
Yes. Cross the fingers.
For supporting.
I'm crossing them. As we
I don't know. I'm not sure. I just know they asked my bill check from April to September. So this is from a tape I sent in 2 years ago.
From 2 years ago.
I got like James said, like it's the triangle.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's like
keeping relationships.
Keep that relationship. Yeah.
Well, this one you probably that's Atlanta. Hold on. Let me see Texas.
Need that list.
Nah, let me see. Let me I thought it was sure I saw something recently.
I know Matthew McConaughey and
Landman.
Yep, Landman. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. And Landman is that's the one. That was the one. Okay.
You're filming it. You're filming. You're gonna.
No. I just know it. And in Austin, you also have a thing called Kin.
Kin. Yep.
It's just started. They just started casting that, and those are the two that pop up. And then
sounds like you might be headed to Texas, James.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah, Landman. John Papsideris is casting that, and who's casting the other one? Landman is John Papsideris. Was Kin? Kin is McCarthy album in casting. So, all right, guys.
Gotcha. Thank you so.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And that really just sums it all up, because I was going to ask you for any advice, and any actors that's listening, he gave you one hell of a alley-oop. So
absolutely,
we really appreciate you for coming. It means so much to us.
Yes,
for someone in your caliber to come speak with us, and us all fellow actors, we all trying to get our foot in the door. And just thank you. James, you got anything else you want to say?
Yeah, it's all relationships. You just can't get anywhere without, and it's just a common sense of it. Look, if you want somebody to mow your lawn, right?
Yes, sir.
If you don't know they exist, how are you going to give them the mow your lawn, right? I got a thing in the mail. It's like, we're 3 kids. We're looking to make money. If you need anything done, if you need whatever, your garage cleaned out or this or that, let us know. I'm like, all right, now I know they exist, right? So, I mean, the thing is, I do get a lot of things in the mailbox that I throw out, like, so it's like, and then, unsolicited emails. But I think, you got to get these people to know you're alive, whether it's through the rep or through your own efforts or
that's right,
through social. I'm not a big, I never really believed much in social, but I see how powerful it can be.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It's really, in the beginning, people are like, oh, you got to have Instagram. Man, it's nonsense. And now you see,
it's a thing. It's actually a thing.
Yeah,
for sure.
I get these people that pop up on my feed. It's like crazy. And if you watch it once, now you get all of that, some guy's telling prison stories. And he's like, oh, you get all these, he's this and he's that. I'm like, this guy's crazy. It's entertaining. It's like, I'm like, this is bizarre. Who would listen to this? Right, that's the thing. You sit there for more than 10 seconds. Somebody's getting an ad and somebody's getting paid. So,
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, once again, we greatly appreciate you. We thank you. Definitely want to respect your time. we would love for you to come back again. If
Yeah,
you
sure.
know, and thank you for the knowledge and gems you dropped. It's really going to help us out
Absolutely.
as young actors and everyone else. And I know your class is on usually on Thursdays, correct? Your acting
But
class.
in person in New York City Thursdays, and then on Zoom I do Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. I got to start up 1.5 hours. So yeah, we have people from all over, studying with me on Zoom. So
Gotcha.
that's an option for them too.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Appreciate it. We'll catch up
All
soon.
All right. Thank you.
right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is it. Round of applause for our show. Great show, great show, great guest, great host. Man,
Co-hosts.
co-host is if that is a word, man. Greatly appreciate y'all. Great shout out. Well, not great shout out. I want to shout out to James Ciccone. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Thank you for the wisdom, knowledge, everything that you share with us. Even stories that happen on set and offset. So I'm gonna take a trip up to New York to join in on this class, learn things, because I was like, I just that little bit he shared with. I'm like, nah, I want to learn some more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
honestly, yeah. You
yeah,
gave some
man.
good gems. I can appreciate that, especially about the props.
Yes, which we
Oh,
all need. That right there, man.
yeah.
Um, Mike, you got anything before we head out, bro?
Yeah, I want to give a special shout out to my son. His birthday was yesterday. He turned 14.
Hey, happy
Yeah,
belated.
yep. And me and the wife is gonna take him go-karting today. He's 4 years. He's almost close to 18, James. Oh, can you believe James? Man,
I try not to think about it, brother. I really try not to.
I was 18. Oh, you try now. I think about it every day. I just
Uh,
you on about
you
transition
know,
you out to gone,
you know.
gone to becoming a man now.
Yeah, go on, son. but daddy, no, son, get your ass
Yeah,
out now.
no, you got to go.
No, let the boy stay. Let him stay
I'm down.
till he 25,
We're gonna let him rock a little bit out,
till he
but
30.
but
No,
30.
yeah, 30. Oh,
no, I'm pushing it.
yeah, you push. Yeah, you
Mike said you gonna pay some rent, man.
yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, I got some bills here.
I can see Mike being petty. Here you go, son.
Here
There
you
you
go, son.
go.
Happy birthday, your 18th birthday. You's a man now.
Right, like Bill.
Talking all that trash now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I
Oh
was
my.
the age, my mom immediately, step by step, we out the house, you off the insurance, you off the phone plan. Now
Yep.
you got to pay your own rent.
Mm.
And I would give everything to go back on her phone plan, go back on her insurance, be under her roof, because
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, I'm telling you straight up, man. Brandy, you have anything? Thank you. This is your very first time joining the show, so thank
it
you.
is, it
We
is.
we
Thank
definitely,
you for
yeah,
having me.
yeah, man, I appreciate it. We definitely got to have you come back on again for a full length show, the episode about yourself, talk about what you got going on as well, and interview you the right and proper
Definitely would
way.
love to. Definitely
Yeah,
would love to. Just thank you to you guys and James, Mr. Ciccone. Thank you for the gems that you gave us. That was very, very insightful. I was actually taking notes too. So
mm,
I'm
mm,
soaking that in. I wrote down those casting directors that you said too. So thank you.
mm, mm, mm.
Um, and again, just want to say also shout out to Jonathan Majors. Congratulations, Magazine Dreams, and I look forward to seeing more work from him as well. So,
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely.
James, you got anything?
Man, what do I have? This year this is what our fourth month within this crazy year, and it feel like it has already been a full year. So all I have is count your blessings, eat healthy, check on your health. Health is wealth.
Health as well.
Start get out your what Q shared earlier with us, his vision board. Get your vision board going. Get everything set up. Knock out those goals. Um, and most importantly, have fun. Don't take nothing too serious because it's already enough serious things going on out there in the
Yeah,
world.
laugh a
Mhm.
little.
Yeah, laugh a
Yeah.
little, or lots, or less, or just
No,
laugh.
a lot. Less,
So,
lot. Everything ain't fun.
Ain't so got doggone funny, man. But yeah, we appreciate y'all again. Keep watching the Just Acting Up show. H-Town holding it down. And peace.